wanted to ask you guys this week, like I said in the group chat, what was that one console that you have the fondest memories of? It could be handheld, it could be a plug into your TV. What was the console that you were like, man, like good times when I had this or I had access to this?
It was PlayStation 2.
Why?
The roster. Like, you had endless choices of games that you could play. Like, even when I was working at GameStop, like, fresh out of high school, I remember when I used to have like to organize the shelves, and then my best, the section used to love the most was PlayStation 2. Because
Mm,
that's when when I especially had to do it in alphabetical order. And it's like just to see like A, B, C, D. And then sometimes, bro, like you might be stuck on D for a while until you get to
mm.
E. And it's just like, bro,
So
like
many
look at
titles.
all
Ace of Combat to
like and then
who knows?
and then when you lift up the case, the cover art, the booklets, or I mean, sometimes people they just give it to you with the disc all crack up. Sometimes
Mm,
you don't get the booklet, but it was just a variety, man. And there was some like the greatest hit section, like that is the one of the best titles ever, like greatest hits. And then to be honest, it's like, bro, like what Sony's done, what Sony did with the PlayStation 3 and 4, it's like, bro, and even I was say 5, like, bro, y'all greatest hits catalog doesn't even compare to what y'all had for 2.
hmm
Doesn't even compare because first of all, y'all are so busy about just about money that it's like the quality is gone.
Let's keep it positive, man. Talk about the good. We're trying to be nostalgic right now.
Yeah, but it was a PlayStation 2, bro.
It
It
just man
was
triggers
it was
anything.
it was the
The
PlayStation
trigger
2.
kicks in.
It was the PlayStation 2. I just had so many fond memories, bro. Like
Mm,
from Soul Calibur to Virtual Fighter, of course, Tekken and other things. The Metal Gear Solid saga. Um, I mean, technically, this game is PlayStation 1, but I played it on PlayStation 2 the first time. Mega Man Legends.
mm.
Like, oh, is backward compatible? That's the first time I ever
Remember
heard about
that? Yeah,
that.
remember
That was the first time
that?
I've ever heard about that. Like, backwards compatible.
I can
It
just
was,
keep playing.
yeah, I could just keep playing, bro. And it was just, and then of course, the Grand Budokai era,
hmm
1, 2, and 3. Tenkaichi came in, but it was just a beautiful era. There was just so much available to you, and I think that's what the beauty of it was. It was so much available to you, and I feel like it was such a healthy ecosystem. It really
hmm
was.
hmm I mean, I agree. That's right. What about you? What was the console that you're like, man, good times, great times, legendary
Um,
times?
well, because it was my personal is my not well great legendary times. I say Xbox 360.
hmm Well,
Xbox 360
mm,
was man, it was backwards compatible after jump. So if anything, I was just my Xbox was just taking its cooler form. You feel me?
mm,
Final form of cooler. That's when a lot of the games like Tekken, Devil May Cry, a lot of the games where they were actually making that transition to Microsoft.
mm,
Microsoft was getting games that were like, yo, I thought we would never get this game. But we were getting crazy hits, man. And the 360 era, man, you had Halo 3 dropping, right? Which like not too far away from the release of the Xbox 360. Gears of War. I was man, the 360 was man, especially and then online. Having that online in college, man, that thing was life changing. You
yeah.
meeting people, man. Where you from, man? I'm from Australia. I'm from New Zealand. New Zealand. What place is that? I'm from Congo. I said, man, y'all got Xboxes in Congo? Yeah, man. We playing Gears of War. It's at 1 o'clock and it's sunrise over there where he at.
mm,
Or it's tomorrow where he's at. And we're playing. We find out there's Japanese people that's playing Gears of War. And they raw. And then that experience alone, man, I had Halo, Ninja Gaiden 2 dropped. Dead or Alive 4. That's when Dead or Alive was actually uh a name to be mentioned, a force to
yeah.
be reckoned with at the
hmm
time. Tekken Tag, it was just Tekken Tag 2, man. The 360 era for me was everything.
Mm.
I had all the games I could ever imagine. Japanese titles, American Western titles, and it was limitless. Then you had the arcade games that were coming back out, the side
Oh
scrollers
right,
that were
yeah, yeah,
popular,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
the backwards compatibility. So you mean to tell me I could play my entire Xbox catalog on a 360? Like, yeah. Then they dropped Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I'm playing Marvel vs. Capcom 2 on the 360. I'm playing Metal Gear Subsistence on the Xbox. I had it for Xbox. And I'm just like, well, man, I'm never gonna be able to play this. Who says? Hmm? Boom. Backwards compatibility. And it was just time to remember, man. Going on Gears of War, staying up late to play Gears of War 1.
Mm.
This is a whole new experience, right? Resident Evil 5 drop. I'm playing Resident Evil 5 on the 360. Well, so wait, no, man, we gonna make Force coming to the 360 as well. Say less, man. My favorite Resident Evil. Say less. And then they drop all the other games that I thought I'd never be able to play on the 360. You know, Devil May Cry 3 on the 360 with the not the arcade edition, but the special edition. And I'm playing everything I loved. It's just going. It's hey, where you can take your library with you, man. Your music, we still got it. And then don't worry, man. You can play your DVDs right here. Then you had the apps that being expanded. You had Netflix Theater. That's what Netflix was unregion locked. You could
Mm.
watch anything you wanted, man.
Mm.
Those were great times, man. The 360 had almost every game I could ever imagine to play. Oh man, HD. Who knew I needed HD? I had an HD TV. I didn't know what HD meant. Xbox was HD ready. Went to the back of the RGB cables and switched on the
What are
HD.
those?
Went on to the HD, turned it on, man. Having a 360 turned on and the controllers and everything. The online community, the headsets, and it was just everything, man. My favorite games were on there. I Some of them I didn't even get rid of. I just have it, just there,
Yeah,
just
just
to
yeah,
just to
just for
keep
the
it.
yeah. I feel you. I
The
feel you.
new case, having to use your key to kind of like open the case and making sure you don't scratch. You want the case cover to be as
Pristine.
clean and
Yeah,
pristine as possible, man.
because like to Tim's
Those
point, there was other things in there besides the disc that you wanted access to. Like, man, what do y'all got coming next? What is
and
this? This is a mini art book in here? Oh,
goodness, man. And then not to mention competition was at its peak. Third party, to me, if you were a third party developer, man, all you had to do was this. Cause you was gonna make it. You was gonna make your money on wherever you decided to go, man. Any place but Nintendo.
which is
Right?
crazy because like
Right?
Nintendo had it all.
Nintendo had it all at the time,
Yeah,
but any place but Nintendo, everywhere he was going, man. Birdman hands all day.
yeah,
And it was everything you could have ever imagined, man. Japanese titles making their appearance on Xbox. That E3, when I saw the Devil May Cry 4 trailer at TGS leaked, I said, when I saw the Tekken trailer and I saw the 360, Mortal Kombat Victory, Mortal Kombat 9 making a return. Come on, guys. And then the first party Xbox games was just the sky was the limit, man. And
yeah.
so I'd say 360.
Okay, okay. For me, I thought about this. I went back and forth with a couple of different consoles, to be quite honest. I think if I have to be objective, it's the PS2 for all the reasons that you listed and Tim listed. Of like what that Xbox was for you, that's what the PS2 was for me. I'm like, it's a treasure trove of just IPs, and every discovery is just how can I lose, right? Like, oh man, they have an incredible Hulk game. I wonder what this is like. Right? It's like, oh, it's one of the greatest
Oh,
things I've ever played. How is this possible? Like I think that it's hard. It's very, very, very hard to argue against the PS2. It is. It is. Um, just for the contrarian's sake, and because I can make an argument for it, and even though I didn't physically own it, I do think my most these are the best of times was probably with the Nintendo 64. Speaking of when Nintendo had everything, like growing up for me, I'm like the Nintendo 64. When you had an N64, I mean, granted, I had a PlayStation, right? And PlayStation was dope. We had all these dope games that kind of paved the way for everything. But there used to be sleepovers, strategically planned from multiple households to go to the home that had the N64 with the 4 controllers. And to show you how much of a run N64 was on that time, it didn't even matter the game. Granted, you had to have GoldenEye, right? You had to have GoldenEye. But if you had GoldenEye, if you had Smash Brothers, if you had Star Fox, if you had Mario Kart, Diddy Kong Racing, Pokemon Stadium, like there was just certain games where it's just like, I'm here, my friends is here, their parents are making pizza rolls or the pizza's on its way. You know, it's a weekend. My homework is done. I have no worries till Sunday night. And we're just about to stay up till 2:00 in the morning, which seemed like, oh, we're staying up so late as kids. And no one's telling us cut the console off. This is peak 90s. Right? Like this is
Okay.
It was just one of those things of like, I could even argue that the springboard of what would become modern gaming was piggyback off of what the N64 kind of paved the way for. To your point, you don't get the Halo competitive scene or the Gears of War competitive scene without GoldenEye. You just don't. They're still trying to replicate the Super Smash Bros. Formula to this day. To this day. Nintendo, the N64 made me care about IPs I could care less about. Bomberman 64? Come on, man. It's a strategy game and I get to blow my friends up.
Rayman 2?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Donkey Kong 64. The DK rap. You know, it's just I think just in terms of like what that meant for me in terms of building the gaming community, the N64 I think does not get the level of appreciation that it probably deserves. Because let's be honest, that controller was funky. It was wonky, right? And they did not. That controller was not their greatest by any means. Like Tim said, they went for, we're just going to do something different. I don't care if it makes sense. Like, all right, try playing a fighting game on this. Spoiler alert, you can't. It's impossible. It just doesn't work. So yeah, the N64 for me. For sure.